I have received a total of 5 different calls in the last 24 hours from people who claim to be prominent Igbo leaders of different groups concerning my take on the Igbo king in Ghana story. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share some portion of their conversation with you and leave out their names, and I believe you want to see or hear what they had to say. So buckle up and let's get rolling. First of all, do well to subscribe if today is your first time here. Thank you. Let's get into it.
Igbo king called me. Guys, you won't believe what they said. This is coming from a Ghanaian YouTuber who posted a video barely 24 hours addressing the ongoing speculations going around the internet about a man who called himself Igbo king in Ghana. Guys, you won't believe what they said to him. Well, you won't hear it from my mouth. Yeah, I prefer you hear it from the horse's mouth. So therefore, let's get right into the video and I will be right back.
Now, 24 hours ago, I published this video about the Igbo king in Ghana on how most Ghanaians and myself feel about his activities in our country. And I'm speaking specifically about his involvement in our politics and chieftaincy activities in Ghana. I wanted to make sure he was reminded of his status living as a non-Ghanaian and therefore couldn't be enthroned as a king under any circumstance in our country. Then I started receiving calls from mostly Nigerians living overseas and in Nigeria on their reaction to my video. I want to summarize all they said in one page so I can also respond to what they said. So this is how it went. Cyrus, you got it all wrong on this one. We love your channel and your push for the unity of Africa and especially your research works. But on this one, you totally missed it. I see. It is an Igbo thing we do all around the world for the purpose of uniting our people wherever we find ourselves and has no political ties to it. Please bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I am just paraphrasing what they said. We, the Igbo people in Nigeria, therefore recognize such groups and chiefs, but disapprove of their interest in making it a political movement or associating it with the politics of the host country. They also said that's how we, the Igbo people, are able to bring our people under checks when it has to do with doing the right things in the countries where we live. Therefore, we have similar associations in other states in Nigeria and in every other part of Africa. This is coming from them. However, our true kings in Nigeria bears the title of Obi, as in the Obi of Onisha, for instance. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Those are the royalties we have and submit to according to them. So they mentioned that they don't bow to these ones who are elected in foreign lands or countries. They don't serve nor treat them like they serve and treat their kings in their native homes, ladies and gentlemen. But these appointed persons will sort of become their mouthpiece when, for instance, they face challenges where they are and will need a united voice to speak with the authorities in the countries where they live, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not a political movement, nor a royalty or kingdom expansion, nor a Biafran movement, but it is purely Igbo cultural thing amongst them to mobilize and to get to know each other for the purpose of doing business and being of assistance to one another amongst their kinsmen. This is the summary of what I heard, and I hope I captured everything that they said, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is my take. I first of all appreciate they are getting in touch with me. This shows how far our platform has reached. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, in as much as it sounds innocent and peaceful and useful to them, it appears rather strange and suspicious to the average Ghanaian, and I'll explain. And I'm not saying this out of my own intuition alone, but from a collection of thoughts from Ghanaians in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. What we see and experience is what we talk about, and what we see is a Nigerian man who has hired several bodyguards who don't sound Ghanaians and is usually seen at high profile conferences and traditional meetings, especially with politicians, identifying himself as a king of a foreign tribe. That is what we see. He is seen in photos with almost every important person of our land, from the head of the police service to the traditional heads to chiefs, politicians, and even to the president. This is what we see, and that's what creates the suspicion. Now, the question then becomes, who is he and why is he granted so much access as a foreigner in Ghana? What is his agenda and the agenda of the group that he heads? Why is he seen or heard more often than the Nigerian High Commissioner in Ghana? Is he superior to the High Commissioner or working hand in hand with the High Commissioner? And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, what business does he do to afford the lifestyle that he has? We hear he's a wealthy man making all sorts of donations and even wanting to build schools for our people. But what is his source of income? That is what people want to know. This is the curiosity on the minds of many Ghanaians due to the experiences we've had with the people from Nigeria over the years. We've had Nigerians live in our country who were very generous and helpful in the community, only to later discover they were in the business of transporting or kidnapping underage girls from their country to Ghana to engage in prostitution. These are facts. These types of stories are not just known in Ghana, but all around the world where Nigerians reside. Therefore, people who usually want to know the source of income of such people, ladies and gentlemen, these are legit questions anyone who is not used to these types of association by foreigners or groups must ask. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hundreds of thousands of Nigerians living in Ghana. Everywhere you go, you find a Nigerian. We've been classmates with them, neighbors and co-workers, church members and spousal partners with them for many decades. We know what some of them are capable of doing when an opportunity presents itself. Therefore, it will be totally naive on our part to not be watchful and careful when dealing with some of them. For it is better to be preserved while being overly protected than to be surprised in our naivety, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with this information given me, which I have done my checks and concluded it is true, I will grant the man his peace, but still observe from far. And I would encourage every one of us to do same if possible. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not a king, but the mouthpiece of the kinsmen of the Igbo people in Ghana. Ghanaians have something similar to that in other countries, but we do it differently. We may form an association in other countries with someone leading us, but not refer to him as a king. And we usually form a Ghanaian association and not a tribal one. In all the countries I've traveled to across the world, I've been in such meetings of an association of all Ghanaians from different tribes, but theirs is rather based on tribes alone, which is okay by me since that's what they want to do. We cannot stop any group of people or people from meeting themselves. That is not against the law. But this speaks more about the level of division in Nigeria. I don't think there is any country in the world more divided than Nigeria. Nothing comes close, ladies and gentlemen. They are either divided by tribal lines or by their politics or by religion. And their divide is very visible, ladies and gentlemen. And it is what it is. As Ghanaians, we will continue to embrace people and be hospitable in our reception to all people, whether from within Africa or from the diaspora. And we would expect others to reciprocate that. We would want all that live in our country to live by the laws and within the confines of our laws. We will protect our sovereignty and the peace we have at all times, so help us God. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. It is bye-bye for now.
Okay, this information is well understood now. I hope Ghanaians will try and absorb to this very information given by our fellow Ghanaian brother. But I'm still doubting some things because, you know, this social media, that's why you really have to be careful before you open your mouth and say one or two things, especially if you want to publish online, you know? Yes. So what I want to point out right now is that this same king, this same man called himself a king. Yeah, I saw a video where he said he is the king of Igbos in Ghana. He said, you are the king. Yeah, you are the king of Igbos in Ghana. You even went far saying that you are the king of Nigerians in Ghana. I heard that perfectly in one of the videos. I do not have the video now. If not, I would have put it here so you guys will see, guys. But if you've seen this very video I'm talking about, let me know in the comment section. Now, we thank God that you've come to realization that you are a leader. Because I can remember vividly when I saw that video, I said, you are not my king. Yeah, because I'm a Nigerian. You are not my king. I said it in that very video I reacted to. I think I reacted to the video. It should be on the channel. Yes, I said you are not my king. When you are in a country and the country did not accept what you are doing, what do you have to do? Is to stop it, you know? So that's what is even making people talk. Because Ghanaians are saying no and you are saying yes. But then, guys, what do I know? Now the room is open for you to let me know what you think about this very video in the comment section. Do have to like, subscribe to the channel, share this video to as many eyes out there. I believe they will watch and learn from it. I love you guys always. Bye bye.